Yes.
Okay.
Brother, thank you.
All right, so
I appreciate it.
let's do your Islam now. What are you waiting for?
Well, what do you mean do this?
All right, so you believe in one God.
Yes.
You believe the Prophet Muhammad is his messenger. As we saw in the Quran, the miracle, the scientific fact that he could not have been known.
And I would have to look into it.
Oh, no, how? Let me...
Because you're saying, do I believe that Muhammad was a
messenger of God, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay, but when we talked about the Quran, the message of the Quran, when we saw the miracles that were in the Quran that could not have been known, we agreed.
It could have been known by an advanced.
Okay, so we talked about that.
Be good.
So let's go through that.
Yeah.
If it was evil, if the advanced being was evil, then the Quran would leave us towards evil.
Yeah.
But we've already agreed the Quran takes you towards a good life.
Yeah.
So obviously the force is something good, right?
It would depend. Have you heard of soul harvesting?
Of what?
I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's called soul harvesting.
I don't know what that is.
So it's getting pretty out there, and it's not like it can prove anything. But you were saying if the Quran is good, which a lot of it is, then how can it be sent from something evil? Well,
okay, we agree.
There is an explanation for why.
Which is?
When you die, your soul gets recycled, and you're met by these angelic beings or Allah or whatever. But it's actually demons or aliens that are trying to trick you into going towards the white light, coming back here.
But why would it have to trick you? You're going to go towards it anyway. That makes no sense. Yeah, I mean, like
trick you to going towards the white light. I mean,
what?
Trick you to going.
Why would you need to be tricked? If God wanted to kill you, He would order your death.
I'm not talking about God. I'm talking about advanced beings.
Advanced beings, if they are that powerful, if they ordered for you to die, why would they need to trick you? They would just take it.
Because you still need free will in some
Who said that?
sense.
And where's the evidence for that?
It's what I believe that.
No. Again, you believe in it without any evidence, right? Like the fact that when you die, you need free will that to go to the white light. You have absolute no evidence for, right? Is this something? No, it's a thought.
You've heard of the white light.
I don't believe in the white light.
Okay, well, a lot of people say that.
Where's the evidence for that?
A lot of people, they say that it's friends or family or angels, but they can pose as whatever they want and then still trick you into going towards
once again
getting recycled.
If you decide not to go to the white light, where are you going to go?
Well, that's the thing. That's like turn around.
Turn around and do what?
No one ever thinks about turning around. They just go towards the white light.
Even if they do turn around, how long are you going to live? In the end, you die. Your body expires. Your heart's not.
I'm talking about when you die and you're not.
What I'm saying is, if you turn around, where do you go?
Where do you go?
Yeah, where do you go? If you don't go to the white light, you turn around, where are you going to go?
I'm not sure. The universe is a big place, but I haven't died myself.
Okay, good.
You haven't died.
I haven't died, so leave death out of it for now.
Okay.
Because neither one of us has been there, right? But when we talk about the Quran and its revelation, that you agree brings a good message, right? Right? So, if it was a demon or somebody evil, then obviously it would bring an evil message, right? Because if demons are calling towards good, then they're not really demons, right? Let's say they were aliens, right? Why would the aliens tell you, I am Allah? Why wouldn't they just say, we're aliens, right? Why would they make up a fictitious figure? That makes no sense.
To deceive you.
Deceive you into what?
Into going towards the white light.
Once again, leave the white light because neither one of us has been there and it's got no evidence there.
To evidence.
Yes, please. I like evidence.
So your evidence is because of the miracles in the Quran.
Yes.
There's no way that humans would have known that.
We agreed to that.
We agree that it's not just humans and Allah. There's all sorts of things in between.
Sure.
So it's possible that it could be an advanced extraterrestrial or some sort of being.
As I said,
deceiving us.
As I said,
with the truth.
As I said, if it was another being, why would it not say, I am an angel? I am an alien. Follow me. Why would it yourself? Why would they? Okay. Yeah. So if there is a higher being, an everlasting power that's all powerful, right? If we call that Allah, right? Yeah. And that's the one that sent the message to the Prophet Muhammad. So is Muhammad a messenger of that higher power?
I don't know.
Why not? I mean, if a message is sent to you, aren't you a messenger?
No, but how do I know that God sent Muhammad?
Okay, so exactly.
Because you said.
So who was the Quran revealed to?
Muhammad.
There you go. Then you know it was Muhammad that the message was given to. Peace be upon him.
On the fact that the message was from God.
Okay, so like I said, you do agree it's from a higher power.
Something more smart than us.
Okay.
Something higher than us.
Something that created us, because it talks about the development of the human.
Created us.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Why not? Again, the Quran says it is.
The Quran says what?
That it is from the one who created mankind.
Yeah.
خلق الإنسان,
So
right?
it says it.
Yes.
But it doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
Right. But if it's from a power
that's above us,
right?
That doesn't mean it's
if it's not from God, right?
Yeah.
Then wouldn't it ascribe itself to itself? Meaning, if you were that higher power, right, and you send that amazing knowledge to this man who he could not have known, that's going to make him a world leader, right? Why would you say it's from that other guy? That makes no sense.
To deceive.
To deceive him for what? Like you're deceiving him to pray and fast and give charity? How is that a deception?
Okay,
that's a good thing.
Put that up. So, basing, this is a theory, and when you say where's the evidence?
Come on, let's talk evidence, bro.
Okay, but
all right. I've given you evidence for everything I said, so.
Oh, you've given me evidence.
Yeah.
There's information in the Quran that Muhammad could not have known by himself.
Okay.
It must have been
Agreed.
higher power, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's God.
It is. Why?
Yeah.
Because that evidence recognizes itself. It introduces itself. And if we agree that it's from a higher power, then when it introduces itself, then it doesn't make sense to be like, nah, it's not that, right? For example,
it doesn't have to be the highest power. It could be a higher power than us.
Again, we agreed earlier there's only one supreme power.
Yeah, at the top.
At the top. And the Quran tells you it's from that.
That's what the Quran says.
Yes, and that has the evidence in it, because when the Quran has things that nobody knew, right, at the time, then when it says something from the unseen, we would have to give it some credit.
Yeah, but you could give it credit as something advanced.
Once again,
something more advanced than us, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's Allah.
I gave you
means it's knowledge that we didn't have access to at the time.
But it says it's from Allah. Where did you get the evidence that it's from somebody else?
The evidence that the Quran is from.
Yes.
What's the evidence?
I just gave it to you. So the Quran.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I don't. Let me explain why. Let's say I am an advanced being.
Yeah.
Right, and you are primitive.
Yeah.
Right, and I give you tools, knowledge that nobody has.
Exactly.
Right?
It doesn't make it
so.
It doesn't.
Let me explain it. That already shows that what you have, I know better, right? And if I wanted you to follow me, I would tell you. But it wouldn't make any sense for me to give you those tools and then ascribe a third party to it, right? There is no evidence for that. The evidence is that when you have something unseen that has miracles, then what it has in it is miraculous. And when it tells you who it's from, then where's the evidence that it's not from that?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you see? You're saying that the evidence of the Quran is the word of God, Allah, God at the top.
Is the Quran itself.
It is because the Quran mentions miracles that humans couldn't have known. But listen, there's humans and then there's God. There's lots of things in between. So you're saying that there could be something in between that's more advanced than us.
Again, I'm not going with could be, right? I'm going by what is. What is fact is the Quran has miracles that could not have been known. What is fact, of course by us,
by human.
But the Quran itself tells you where it's from.
Yes, it does.
So where did you get the idea it's from somebody else?
What's your evidence that it's not a higher being posing as God?
I'm telling you. The Quran itself is the evidence, right? If it was another being, then it would ascribe to itself. If it's not, then you would have to bring me evidence showing that it's not from God. Because when something is proven miraculous, something that's proven that could not have been without a higher being, and the higher being introduces himself in the Quran itself. So where did you get the idea of it being from somewhere else? Where is your evidence?
Okay, so there is no evidence that the Quran is written by God, the Almighty.
Again, I'm giving you the evidence.
The evidence is that there's knowledge in there that is far beyond humans. That means, but it could be there's angels, there's demons.
I don't think you're listening to me. All right, let me take you.
I'm listening to you.
I don't think so. Okay, let's go back to your concept.
Yeah.
We already discussed demons and we rolled them out because the Quran does not call you towards demonic practices. So I don't know why we're going back to that, right?
It was a bit demonic.
The what? The what? It's demonic?
Wars. There's been lots of wars. How many wars have Muhammad?
First thing, there have been more wars caused by atheists than Muslims.
Okay.
There have been more wars by Christians than Muslims.
Yeah.
And the Quran doesn't call you towards war. It calls you towards peace.
You're saying slavery is permissible.
Once again, we already went through all of that. And so again, I mean, it's not something demonic that is calling towards. Rather, it's telling you don't murder people and keep them, protect them, right?
Yeah.
So now, that's not the same thing. Killing somebody and keeping them is not the same thing, right? If you were to attack me, and the government just comes and mows you down with a shotgun, that's different than them arresting you and enslaving you in a prison, right? Those are two different things. Now, the Quran does not call you to worship devils or worship angels or worship any other higher being. So to be from something else wouldn't make sense. What does the Quran?
Energy harvesting.
Again, we go into things that you have no evidence. Energy. If Allah wanted your energy, He'd take it from you, right?
That's not Allah. That's what I'm saying. Allah doesn't need you.
Okay, so if there's a higher being, why can't they just take your energy?
Because it's not the highest being. It's not God. It has powers more than us, and it's more advanced in some ways. But it still is sucking off our energy and using us in that.
Where is the evidence for that?
Okay, the evidence is well, there's no evidence.
There's no evidence, then let's not talk about it.
Evidence.
I do. I just listen.
Evidence that it's not the word of humans.
100%. I'll tell you. You said, what are the evidence that's not the words of humans, right?
Yes.
The Quran challenges all of mankind to bring something like it. Until today, it has not been met.
The Bhagavad Gita. Have you read that?
It's nothing like the Quran. Yes, I've read it. Have you read it?
Yes, of course.
How is it like the Quran? It doesn't have rulings and regulations. It doesn't have news of the prophets of the past. It doesn't have prophecies that came true. It does not rhyme like the Quran. It does not give you information that is scientific. The Gita tells us that we're on the back of a turtle or some crazy stuff. I have read the Mahabharata and the Gita. It is absolutely nothing like the Quran. In fact, we don't even know who wrote it, right? The Gita talks about, and Mahabharata together, about Krishna stealing women's clothes and Ram and Sita and Mahabharata. That is nothing like the Quran. The Quran put that challenge out that if any mankind can bring a word like it, it would prove us wrong. Until today, 14 and a half centuries later, nobody's been able to. So it cannot be the words of man. Man could not have you just asked what's the evidence not from man. So I just told you. Okay.
I know it's not from man.
Okay, good. So if you know it's not from man, we do agree it's from a higher power.
Yes, that doesn't mean God.
I got you.
It just means anything.
Listen,
that's higher than us.
I got you. I got you. So who is it from? Either we can look at the evidence from itself that tells you who it's from, or you can make up wild ideas with no evidence. Which one would you rather?